Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanath Swaminiti Namini Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandegam Sri Guru Sri Utapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaisnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunadan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadutam Parijana Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarabhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva Chapatitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaga Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Isvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadi Radhir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam Hare Krishna. By Lord Sri Krishna's causeless mercy, we are nicely studying Bhagavad Gita. So today, because it's Saturday evening in US and Sunday morning in India, we are in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. We finished 12 slokas in the 4th chapter. So by Krishna's causeless mercy, we are studying, and this is Transcendental Knowledge. The title of this chapter is Transcendental Knowledge. In this 4th chapter, Krishna is continuing from the 3rd chapter when Arjuna asked the question, by what one is simple to do sinful acts unwillingly as if engaged by force. So here we are forced to act. Unwillingly we are doing a lot of sinful acts. That means we are under the force of 3 modes of material nature. So that part very, very clearly we are understanding. Even in the 3rd chapter itself, Krishna said very clearly about that. In that sloka, in the 3rd chapter, sloka number 27, Krishna very clearly says that due to ahankara only we are thinking that we are doing the activities, but in reality, all the activities are carried out by Prakriti, by the 3 modes of material nature, which are born from Prakriti. So now we are very fortunate to get this knowledge, because when we practice this Bhagavad Gita, we know how to get ourselves free from this bondage to this material world. How we can solve our real problems in this material world. So that way Krishna is teaching us that this Bhagavad Gita is the yogam. This is yoga, means we can achieve yoga through this Bhagavad Gita. That's why this Bhagavad Gita is also called yoga. So yoga means we are not disturbed by both success and failure. So that is called yoga. So that equanimity. So with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, we can achieve that status. So that's why this Bhagavad Gita is also known as yoga. So that is the real meaning of yoga. But these days, in general, people, they know yoga, it's a worldwide known term, yoga, and they don't understand the real meaning of yoga. Krishna only is teaching us in Bhagavad Gita very clearly about what is yoga. Yogo bhavati dukkha. So when we are able to achieve that status of equanimity, not disturbed by anything in this material world, so then all our distress will be gone. So that is the way to solve our problems completely, fully. So in this material world, when we were born, we had some amount of bondage. We can quantitatively, we have some amount of bondage to this well. That's why we were born. First of all, we are forced to take birth in this material well. But at the time of death, if we are able to minimize that bondage, if we are able to reduce, then it is good actually. So from birth to death, if we account, now we have a lot of accounting software systems and everything. We do a lot of accounting, all those things, correct? So like that, our karma, how much bad karma we have, how much bondage we have, how many sins we have committed, and all those things. So at the time of birth, we already have our papa and punya, good or bad deeds, everything is already there. Already Krishna knows everything. Already is there. So our goal should be not to commit any more sins and get rid of all the sins before we die. So that means at the time of our death, our bondage to this well should be zero. If not, at least we should try to minimize them, reduce them. Then we will be given another opportunity to further reduce our sins or further eradicate our sins. So that way our bondage to this material world will be slowly, it will be completely washed off. So that's why Krishna in one sloka in the 4th chapter, he says that Sarve pyete yajna vido yajna kshapita kalmasaga yajna sista mrita bhujo yanti brahma sanatanam. Sarve pyete yajna vido yajna kshapita kalmasaga. So by knowing all types of yajnas, yajna vido means by knowing all different types of yajnas, sarve pyete yajna vido yajna kshapita kalmasah. So by performing everything as yajnas and free ourselves from all kinds of sins, yajna kshapita kalmasah, yajna sistamrita bhujo. By performance of these yajnas, performance of these offerings unto Krishna, so we will be able to taste the nectar. Yajna sistamrita bhujo yanti brahma sanatanam. So at that point of time, we will be able to enter that eternal Brahman, the Supreme Personality of Godhead's abode. So that's what yanti brahma sanatanam. So that way we should progress towards Krishna. This is an opportunity for us. We need to effectively make use of this life and gain the complete knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and act everything as per the instructions of Krishna given by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Do everything based on what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. That's it. Just understand what is karma. In fact, today we are going to study, even in the next week, in the 4th chapter, we are going to study about karma, akarma, vikarma. All those things we need to understand. So, whatever Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, if we do, then we are following karma. We are doing everything as per Krishna's instructions. In fact, in this 4th chapter only, Krishna is going to teach us very, very clearly what is meant by karma. So in the next few slokas, we will be studying very clearly about karma. We will understand about karma very clearly in this chapter. So what is our duty? How we should do our duty? Everything we need to understand, because Krishna is going to explain to us. Krishna is explaining here because Arjuna asked and Krishna is teaching us. So that way, if you do everything as an offering unto Krishna with the knowledge of this Bhagavad Gita, if you are able to perform all our activities as karma yogam, asaktaga savisisyate. Karmendriya karma yogam asaktaga savisisyate. So if you are able to perform all our activities as with karmendriya, with our working senses, without any attachment to the material sense objects, so then that's going to be better. That's going to be helpful for us. It will free us from this material bondage. So that's how we need to act. That's why this Bhagavad Gita knowledge is very important. That's why we should teach this Bhagavad Gita knowledge to everyone, because everyone should understand that they are not the body, they are the soul. And everyone should realize that this is a science. This Bhagavad Gita is a science. And by acting in this material world with attachment to the material sense objects, we are actually binding ourselves to this material world. This bondage is causing all kinds of problems. So that means at the time of death, our bondage should not increase. It should decrease. So if we act so much, if we commit so many sins in this world, again and again, more and more sins, so that means our bondage is going to even become more and more, and we will get ourselves entangled too much in this material world. So the only way to get out of this bondage is this studying Bhagavad Gita. So this Bhagavad Gita knowledge only helps us. So that's why we need to spread this message. We need to understand this Bhagavad Gita, and we need to follow this Bhagavad Gita in our life. So everything is very, very important. So by just following Bhagavad Gita, following Krishna's instructions and doing what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, so then we will be able to liberate ourselves from the material bondage. As we studied in the last week, Krishna said in the 4th chapter, Krishna said that Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha Manmaya Mam Upashita Bhagavo Jnana Tapasa Puta Madbhavam Agata. So being freed from attachment, fear and anger, Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha, and having taken shelter unto me, Manmaya Mam Upashita Bhagavo Jnana Tapasa, many persons with the virtue of knowledge and austerity, Jnana Tapasa, Puta Madbhavam Agataga. So they have attained my nature. So that's what Puta Madbhavam Agataga. We studied there. Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha Manmaya Mamupashitaga Bhagavo Jnana Tapasa Puta Madbhavam Agata. So that way we need to purify ourselves. We need to free from all attachments in this material world. So that is very much possible. It is not difficult, because when we surrender unto Krishna, when we understand this Bhagavad Gita, when we realize that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, when we do everything only for the satisfaction of Krishna with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, so then we will be able to free ourselves from this material world. We will be able to purify our soul, because our soul is now contaminated because of the lust, because of the which is sitting on our senses, mind and intelligence, and it is bewildering us. So Indriyani Mano Buddhi Asyadisthanam Uchyade Etegi Vimoheti Jnanam Avritya Deginam. So those are our problems. The problems is that we don't have the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. That means we are under ignorance. And because we don't have the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, we think that we are this body. And due to that reason, we get ourselves attached to so many material sense objects in this material world. So that way we want to achieve a lot of things materially speaking. We are going after a lot of things in this material world without even realizing that we are the soul, and without even understanding the needs for our soul, needs of the soul. We need to know what is really needed for ourself. Our self is Krishna only is needed, and Krishna is there with us. So we are going out and searching for everything which is not needed, when what we need is Krishna, and Krishna is already with us, and he is there with us as super soul in our heart, and Krishna is everywhere. So if we just get this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita fully and realize that very important science, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and he is eternally related to us, and he is always with us, and we never ever, Krishna never ever gets out of us. He's always with us. So this knowledge only is going to help us to free ourselves from this material bondage. So as I said earlier, in the 4th chapter, we will understand about the karma, and also Krishna is going to focus a lot about yajna. So when we perform all these things, then what is going to happen is that, as I said in the very beginning, so slowly we will eradicate all the sins. So then what is going to happen? Esam tu antagatam papam. So then all our papam, all our sins will be completely removed, completely eradicated. That's why esam tu antagatam papam. So that means we will do only punya karmanam. Punya karmanam means only pious activities, only good deeds, good activities. So esam tu antagatam papam janana punya karmanam. So we need to now get ourselves liberated from the dualities in this material world. Te dvandva moha nirmuktaga bhajante mam dhrita vrataga. So we need to worship Krishna with great determination. That is the main thing. We need to worship Krishna. Bhajante mam dhritam pratak. So that way, all the time we should be only remembering Krishna, worshipping Krishna, praying to Krishna, thinking about Krishna, talking about Krishna, offering prasadam unto Krishna, and doing everything for Krishna. So our life should be full of Krishna. That is what called Krishna consciousness. So if that happens, then by Krishna's mercy, Krishna is saying that by my mercy, mat prasada tavapnoti sasvatam padam avyayam. So you will attain the supreme abode, the permanent abode by my mercy. Mat prasada tavapnoti. So by Krishna's mercy, we will get Krishna's abode. So then we will not be suffering like this in this material world. So that way we are very fortunate that we are making progress. We are every day we are studying Bhagavad Gita and we are understanding and we are getting ourselves connected with Krishna. At least at this point of time, we are not bothered by Maya. We are not disturbed by Maya and we are not thinking about any material sense objects at this point of time. So at this point of time, because we are only remembering Krishna, we are only listening to Krishna, what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, we are studying to, we are trying to understand the slokas, Krishna's songs. So all these things are helping us to actually forget this material world. We are not thinking, we are not remembering anything about in this material world. So in this material world, everything is temporary only, but everything is miserable only. So there is no point in all the time thinking or worrying about what's happening in this material world. There is no point. Everything is, so that's why Krishna is saying that we should completely get ourselves detached. So that means we should not be disturbed by anything happening in this material world. So those kind of things are possible slowly, steadily when we study Bhagavad Gita, when we realize Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God, and when we are able to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra with love and devotion, not out of compulsion or force. This kind of chanting should not be felt like an assignment. Oh, I have to chant, otherwise it is wrong, otherwise it is a problem. So I have to chant somehow this many rounds, I have to finish it. That is not like that. We should feel ourselves very happy when we are remembering Krishna, when we are chanting Krishna's name. This is not something should be done under kind of force or pressure. We should feel ourselves very, very happy. We are chanting Krishna's name. We are thinking about Krishna. We are remembering our Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. So that's what is very important. So when we want to remember our God, our Supreme God, Sri Krishna, who is there in our heart, who is there in everyone's heart, who is there everywhere. So that Supreme Personality of God, Sri Krishna, when we try to remember, so we should just remember Him with very lovingly, very happily. So that's how one should actually chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. It's very, very important. So in the 4th chapter, now Krishna is teaching us. Then we studied, Krishna said in the next sloka, we already studied in the 4th chapter, in the 9th sloka, Krishna said, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvataga tyaktva degam punarjanmanayeti mameti so Arjuna. So if anyone knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities, after giving up this body, they will not take another birth in this world because they will come to me. So then the other sloka I just quoted earlier, Krishna said that, Vitaraga Bayakroda, Manmayamam Upashita, Bhagavonyana Tapasa, Puta Madbhava Magata. So being free from attachment, fear, and anger, and by taking shelter unto me and being purified, so with the help of knowledge and jnana, tapasa, and austerity, and many, many persons in the past have come to me. That's what Krishna is there, purifying their self. Then to the extent one surrenders unto me, to that extent I also worship them. I also surrender unto them. That's what Krishna is saying. Yayatha ma prabatyante tam sadeva bhajamyakam mamavatmanuvattante manushya partha sarvasaka. Then we studied in the 12th shloka, which we finished last week. Krishna said that Kanshantaga karmanam siddhim yajantaiga devathaga Shipramhi manushe loke siddhir bhavati karmaja. So Kanshantaga karmanam siddhim. So desiring the results. Kanshantaga karmanam siddhim yajantaiga devataga. So they worship other gods. And they will also quickly get what they want. Shipramhi manushe loke siddhir bhavati karmaja. But if you worship Krishna also, Shipram bhavati dharmatma sasvat chantim negachati. So we don't need the material benefits. We just surrender unto Krishna, worship Krishna, then Chipram Bhavati Dharmatma Sasvachantim Nigachati Kaunteya Pratijanigi Name Bhaktaka Pranashari. We will quickly get everlasting peace of mind. That's what we want. We don't want anything else in this world, materially speaking. We want only the peace of mind. We want only Krishna. So with Krishna, when our mind is focused on Krishna, when our mind is remembering Krishna, we will get peace of mind. So in the next sloka, in the sloka number 13, Krishna is continuing in the 4th chapter. Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagashaga tasya kartaram api ma vidya kartaram avyayam. So Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam. So these 4 varnas are created by me. So that's what Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam. Guna karma vibhagashana, based on the work one does under the control of the modes of nature. That's what guna karma vibhagashana. We need to understand. So already in the 18th chapter, Krishna is teaching us. In the 18th chapter, Krishna says very clearly, Brahmana kshatriya visham sudranam cha parantapa karmani pravibhaktani swabhava prabhavair gunaihi. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Visam, Sudranam. There is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaisya and Sudra. So they are, Krishna is saying that Brahmana, Kshatriya, Visam, Sudranam, Karmani, Pravibhaktani. Those 4 kinds of karmas, duties are divided based on what? Swabhava, Prabhavai, Gunai. The Swabhava, which is born from the 3 modes of material nature. So based on everyone's mode of nature, based on everyone has got their own Swabhava. Based on that Swabhava only, what type of work we do. So based on that, these 4 kinds of varnas are created. This is not based on the body. This is not based on the birth. This is not based on anything else. This is based on the Swabhava. We need to understand. So definitely everyone's Swabhava is different. Everyone has got their own individual Swabhava, individual characteristics, individual Swabhava. So that's why Krishna is saying that Chaturvanya Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasaka. Based on one's work, what they do under the control of the modes of nature, based on that I created. Tasya Kartaram Apimam Vidhi Akartaram Avyam. So even though I created that, you understand that I didn't do anything. That's what Krishna is saying. Because we cannot blame anything on Krishna. Because we cannot say that Krishna did this. Because important thing we need to understand here, nothing is going to bind Krishna. That is the main thing. Nothing is going to affect Krishna. That is the main thing we need to understand. So Krishna, because that's what in the next sloka Krishna explains why he's saying like that. Because nothing is going to, when we do something without ahankara, without ego, so that way nothing is going to bind us. Nothing is going to affect us. So we cannot say that you did it, I did it, all those things and all won't come into picture at all. Because we are not influenced by the modes of nature, because we don't desire the results, because we don't like this or like that. So we are completely freed from the modes of nature. So like that here Krishna is freed already. In the 9th chapter Krishna says that Nachamam tani karmani nibandhanandi dhananjaya udasina vadasinu asaktam tesu karmasu. So all these activities, they don't bind me. Nachamam tani karmani nibandhanandi dhananjaya udasina vadasinu asaktam tesu karmasu. Because I am doing it with neutral. I am not affected by anything and I am not attached to anything. Asaktam tesu karmasu. I am not attached to those results. So that's what we need to understand. Also in the 3rd chapter, Krishna says that Nachamam tani, Krishna says that Name partasti kartavyam trishu lokesu kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam vartayevacha karmani. So in all these 3 wells, there is no work for me to do, and nor I have to obtain anything by working. So that way Krishna is totally free to do. So that way Krishna is saying that even though I created all these 4 varnas, so still I am not the doer. That's what Krishna is saying that. So in the next sloka, Krishna here is teaching us in the 14th sloka, Namam karmani limpanti name karma pale sprikha itimam yobi janati karma bir nasabadhyate. Namam karmani limpanti name karma pale sprikha. That means this karmani na limpanti. Mam karmani na limpanti. So whatever I do, they are not going to bind me. That's why Nachamam Tani Karmani Nibandhanandi Dhananjaya. In the 9th chapter, Krishna says, in the 9th sloka. Here, Namam Karmani Limpanti. Name Karma Palay Sprigaha. Nor I have to get anything. Nor I do, I desire any results. So that's what Krishna is saying there. Name Karma Palay Sprigaha. Krishna does what he wants and nothing is going to bind him. So that way we cannot blame anything on Krishna. That's what we need to understand. Because Krishna is not controlled by the modes of nature. And Krishna, in fact, the modes of nature are controlled by Krishna. So that's why Krishna is saying that Itimam yobi janati karma bigi nasapadyati. So if anyone understands this, they will not be bound by their karmas, by their activities. So that's why Itimam yobi janati karma bir nasapadyati. So if we just understand about this, about Krishna, then we ourselves are not bound by the results. So that way we need to understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God and nothing is going to bind him. He can do anything, he need not do anything, nothing is going to bother him. Then in the next sloka, in the sloka number 15, Krishna is saying that Yevam nyatva kritam karma purvairapi mumukshubhihi Kuru karmaiva tasmatvam purvaihi purvataram kritam. Evam nyatva kritam karma. By knowing this, by knowing what? Nothing is going to bind Krishna. Krishna doesn't desire any results. Nothing is going to bind Krishna. Krishna is free from everything. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Itimam yobi janati karma bi nasapadyate. So by knowing this, evam nyatva kritam karma, so by knowing this, by acting with this knowledge, many persons in the past have got liberation. Purvairapi mumukshubhihi. So in the past, many got liberation. So that's why evam nyatva kritam karma purvairapi mumukshubhihi. Kuru karmaiva tasmatvam purvaihi purvataram kritam. So that's why you also do like how others did in the past. Kuru karmaiva tasmatvam purvaihi purvataram kritam. That's what Krishna is saying. That you also do like others, how others did. Purvaihi purvataram kritam. So that way Krishna is teaching us already in the 9th chapter, already in the 10th sloka we studied. Krishna said that there is Vita Raga Baya Krodha Manmayama Upasitaka Bhagavo Jnana Tapasa Puta Madbhava Magataka. Bhagavo means many persons. Many persons they have attained my nature. Puta, purified, Madbhava Magataka. So same thing Krishna is saying that Yevam Nyatva Kritam Karma Purvairapi Mukshubhigi. So many have attained liberation by acting in this way, knowing that nothing is going to bind me. So next in the 16th sloka, Krishna is saying that Kim karma kim akarmeti kavayopyatra mohitaha tatte karma pravakshyami yajnatva mokshase asubhat. I have quoted this sloka many times in the past. Krishna is now teaching. Krishna is saying that kim karma kim akarma. Kim karma kim akarmeti kavayopyatra mohitaha. So what is duty and what is not duty? What one should do and what one should not do? What is action? What is inaction? That's why kim karma kim akarmeti kavayopyatra. Kavayopi means the intelligent persons. So the knowledgeable persons, even they are mohitaka. They are bewildered. Even they are bewildered. Even the intelligent persons are bewildered. They are not able to decide. They are not able to decide what is karma and what is akarma. What is action and what is inaction. So therefore, now I shall explain to you that te karma pravakshami. Now I shall explain to you what is karma. I will explain to you what is karma, what action is. So tate karma pravakshami. By knowing which you will be freed from the miseries of material existence. That's why yajnatva mokshase asubhat. So just by knowing what is karma, what is action, what one should do. So just by knowing this, you will be freed from the miseries of material existence. That's what Krishna is saying. So that way, if we study this, understand this by Krishna's mercy, if we just follow what Krishna says here, so then we will be freed from the miseries of material existence. So that's what we need to study. In fact, Krishna is going to teach us what karma is there, and let us study and understand and follow what Krishna says. So then we are freed from the miseries of material existence. Yajnatva mokshashe asubhat. The same way yajnatva mokshashe asubhat, Krishna also used in the 9th chapter. Idam tude guhyatamam pravakshami anasuyave jnanam vinyana sahitam yajnatva mokshashe asubhat. So yajnatva mokshashe asubhat means I'm explaining you this most confidential knowledge because you are not envious of me. I'm explaining you both theoretical and practical knowledge, by knowing which you will be freed from the miseries of material existence, from the pains of material miseries. So that's why yajnatva mokshashe asubhat. And so Krishna is saying that yajnatva nega bhuyo anyadi jnatavyam avasisyati. By knowing which there is nothing else is there for you to know. Jnanam te agam sa vijnanam idam vakshami asesataga yajnatva nega bhuyo anyadi jnatavyam avasisyati. So just by studying Bhagavad Gita, knowing Bhagavad Gita fully, following Bhagavad Gita, we will be freed from all miseries of material existence. And there is nothing else is there for us to know. So we need to know Bhagavad Gita. It's very, very important. So by Krishna's causeless mercy, we have successfully finished 16 slokas in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna. I'll stop now and we'll discuss if any questions are there. Hare Krishna.